All right, people. All right, what's happening? What is happening? We are back here, Fantasyland football. What's happening, y'all? Obviously, we are here in our Fantasyland redraft channel. This is where it all started. We say that almost every single time because you might be watching this from the Dynasty League, from the in your Dynasty player, and you saw and you found this in our Dynasty channel. This is our redraft channel. Once again, this is where it all started. So welcome, shout out to everyone that's here. Say how you doing in the chat, like Zach always says. How you doing? How you doing? I see Gator fan already in here. What's happening? We're doing a redraft mock draft. The season is slowly but fastly approaching in a weird way, and we are excited.
Not a weird way, in a beautiful way.
Beautiful, yeah, it is. Well, I guess I'm saying it's slowly and fastly approaching. That's the weird way, you know.
Right.
Slow and fast.
It'll come up quick on you.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't prepare, with enough time. But we are here. Welcome back. All love as always. We appreciate each
Yoki.
and every one of you. Yoki, we're in Brooklyn, man. Trust me, it's okay. It's okay.
So Dom is like one of when I lived in Kansas City. You know, my teenage years. He was literally like one of my best friends. Me, him, a couple other guys. We had a pretty like small friend group, but that's all we needed. Such good memories. Like we would just do the stupidest things together. So
Yeah.
I got huge love for him.
Bushwick. That's not terrible.
What's not terrible?
Bushwick is not terrible, man.
Oh, Bushwick.
That's actually not bad at all. I thought there's definitely worse places you can go. Like Brownsville is pretty bad. I don't know if it's bad. I'll be honest. I haven't been there in a long time, so I don't know how bad is it now. But Bushwick used to be bad. But I know like before I left, it was like kind of in certain areas kind of up and coming. You know, it was getting cleaned up a little bit. To be fair, I kind of grew up in the nice part of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I grew up in Park Slope. I don't know if you know where Park Slope's at, but that's the place to be now in Brooklyn. Park Slope, Greenpoint, Williamsburg. Those are all like the places to be. They always
don't know enough.
No, I know.
I don't know enough about the area.
Maybe he knows.
Nah, he would for sure. Yeah.
When I was younger, like when I grew up, like probably around like 7 years old, it was probably up until I was 7. It was really bad. Everyone looks at me a certain ways when I say that's where I live.
Where I live, yeah. That's
I'm assuming
funny.
it's because maybe you're like a white guy that lives in, that lives there and is like, wait, are you okay? Like, are you sure? You know, I could be wrong though.
Like living on Gates Drive. Anyway, what's up, Zach? What's up, Gator? What's up, Dom? All right, guys, we're doing a redraft mock. This is always a more intimate setting over here on the redraft channel. A lot less people, but you know, always a chance to have good conversations.
Oddly enough,
so
weird.
Yeah. If you guys want to join us here in this mock draft, I will paste a link over there on Discord. Join our Discord with the link that is in the description. And there is a text channel that says redraft mock drafts. I'm going to paste a link here. And I'm going to do it here in about 5 seconds. Link to join. I'm going to tag everyone. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
3, 2,
and this should fill up. Obviously, we're in June. So when you think about it, it's still, even though we're doing it, it's still pretty early for a redraft. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's I think end of July, second or third week of July, when everyone starts reporting and be like, all right, mini camp is starting, you know, 1 week out. That's when people's like, oh shit, I gotta start mock drafting. I gotta find out what's happening. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually really excited for it.
Yeah, the more redraft mocks I do, the more excited I get for redraft. You know, you kind of get in the flow of things a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get this started.
Yeah, as always.
By the way, Dom, how is life? I'm curious. How's life? How's the wife? Got any kids on the way? What's new? What are you doing for your job? It's been so long. So you're gonna say something, Badaki?
Yeah, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, and about 5 to 6 bench spots. Once again, this is a redraft, a minute on the clock, and we'll change in 30 seconds. Maybe round 5, round 6, around there.
Yeah. And we will go 12 rounds. Yep. 12 rounds here.
Baloney.
So
on the clock here.
Obviously, those who are deep into Dynasty, you have to switch a switch has to get flipped when you go redraft, because most of them are 1 quarterback leagues. Yep. Maybe we should do a Superflex redraft mock here soon. But obviously these RBs, wide receivers go a lot earlier. Gator says thoughts on Fantasy Pros mock draft setup. Let me have a look at it.
Is that a thing now?
I think they're probably trying to do something similar.
Come on.
Okay, so Filonini gets auto drafted already. I don't know if you're listening, Filonini, but go to Q, and you can toggle off your queue there. There you go. JT was probably going to be the pick anyway. Let's be honest. Yeah. So where is this mock draft from Fantasy Pros?
I can see where it says like mock draft lobby, and it says create a private mock draft lobby. And then there's like where you can draft with other people.
Okay.
But I don't see like anything different.
Is there a way to like invite people to it?
No idea.
Okay, yeah, apparently you can share this draft. I'm gonna just see what it looks like.
You're on the clock here, Tebow.
Tebow is on the clock.
Jonathan Taylor, CMC, and then Cooper Kupp at the 1-3. Definitely our consensus wide receiver 1 coming into this year. I think you can take him anywhere in the first, wherever you feel comfortable. Maybe outside of the 102, the 103. But I mean 102 and 101, excuse me. Anywhere else after that, I think it's up for grabs, really.
Okay, so I'm looking at their mock draft thing. It looks pretty much like the same thing that you see on Sleeper, but I think their ADP is much worse, and that's saying a lot because Sleeper's ADP is pretty bad.
Right.
But it looks kind of similar. I don't know.
Also,
it's interesting.
Eckler, Najee, and now you're on the clock here.
I am on the clock here. And I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to go Justin Jefferson here.
Okay.
I want to see what this could look like, because I have a feeling that if you can get Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson in the first round, I think you might be better off based off of the current ADPs of these running backs as far as like complete team construction. You could probably put Chase and Adams in that tier as well. Maybe Diggs. We'll see.
Yeah, well, there goes Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Derrick Henry falls at the 1A. I think the last time we did this mock draft, I took him at the 1-3. So getting at the 1A, and he's my RB3 coming into this season. I think it's great value there for Derrick Henry.
Sure. I'm a little bit more hesitant on him. He's my RB7. Actually, my RB8. Sorry. My bad. So for me, I'm just a little bit more hesitant on him as far as his longevity. The foot injury worries me a little bit. He didn't look like the same player. He's gonna have an entire offseason. He should be fine, but he's also not really getting a ton of work through the air. So it's just the team, like you've said this before, it's a little bit shaky as well. Yeah, Dom says everything's chill. New York is not it though. Probably trying to move back to KC. Damn. So, what about New York have you not enjoyed? And what was like the original, I guess, pull to get you there? Was there something that you wanted to kind of explore, or just kind of wanted to live in New York in general? I'll tell you. Obviously, New York, you would know this. Rent is very high. In Sydney, rent is very high. Kansas City, you can get a lot for a little, rent wise, and makes
Thank you so much for subscribing there, Thomas.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you.
I
I didn't see any notification pop
Yeah,
up.
I heard it, but it didn't. I saw that too. I heard it, but I didn't see it. That was weird.
So we see Mixon, Cook, Swift go off the board, then Diggs and Kamara. I love Alvin Kamara's ADP right now. He is my running back 4. Now, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. If he gets suspended, I'm going to have to change that. But I think he's great value where his current ADP is.
Appreciate you.
And there goes Devontae Adams off the board.
Yeah, I took Devontae Adams there. My wide receiver 4. I didn't see Stephon Diggs there. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even look at the wide receiver. He's my wide receiver 3. Or no.
Well, you still went at,
4.
I don't think it's terrible to get Adams and
5,
Swift.
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy either. I think that's great as well. So it's definitely weird.
So then we see CeeDee Lamb and Travis Kelce. I wonder where Kelce's ADP will be closer to the season. Because I think he might go after when Kupp and Jefferson are off the board. I don't know. I think he might be starting to be considered around the 1-9 going forward.
Let me ask you this.
Because think about it. He had so many targets last year, and he's finished as a tight end 1 since 2016, except for last year with Mark Andrews. And he's only going to get more targets this year. Connected to a very good offense.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's hard for me to think of a way where he doesn't get like 150 targets this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it make it easier for defenses to kind of try to eliminate him, where before they had to try and eliminate Kelce and Tyreek? I think we can agree that Tyreek is more talented than everyone else on the team outside of, like, in the wide receiver room. In that wide receiver room. So now maybe defenses can focus more on Travis and be like, hey, maybe let's double team him. Let's get another guy on him, where like they were double teaming Tyreek primarily because of that speed on the top.
Sure, but it's not as if they didn't replace Tyreek with anyone. I mean, they still have MVS who stretches the field, McColl stretches the field, Juju is going to be over the middle. So we'll see. I'm going to take Fournette here. He's my running back 5. I have so much love for Fournette this year. If he was healthy, he was going to finish with the most targets amongst any running back last year. And we have to ask the question, how long will Godwin be out? I think Fournette is set to smash again this year. Gator says, I know it's early, but thoughts on Eckler versus Henry? I would go Eckler. I think Badaki would go Henry.
Yeah, I have Henry over Eckler at the moment.
Yeah. Gator, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. John says, I would love to get Cook at the 110 in a real draft. I think he'll probably be around there.
Yeah,
I think that's probably where his ADP will be. Thomas, no worries, bro. Thanks for the sub. Dom says, yeah, I just wanted to do something different. Also wanted to make a career change, but things haven't really worked out. I'm sorry to hear that, man. What were you looking to do over there? Like, was it music? What in particular were you exploring? For us, things are good. I miss LA. We were living in LA before COVID hit, and honestly, I loved it. We were able to go to like games all the time. The music scene is huge there. Film scene is big. I really missed LA. But we're good in Sydney right now, and at some point maybe we'll be back there in LA. We'll see, but can't complain at the moment. John says, I'd say that the wide receiver core in KC overall is better than last year. Last year was just Hill and Kelce. I kind of tend to agree with that sentiment as far as like it's a more complete wide receiver room.
Sure.
It's not a more elite wide receiver room, but it is a more complete. If we're building a basketball team, for example, like people say, it's a better overall depth.
They've always been looking for, that 1-2 punch, and they try to do it with McCole. They try to do it, well, really just McCole, Pringle, and they didn't really work out. Now they have Juju on one side, Kelce, and Sky Moore with NVS. So I do believe it's more complete for sure. I think it's a lot easier to focus and hone in more on your key superstar compared to what they had to do before.
Yeah. Gator says, Zach, I know you're not big on Chubb this early, but I think it's cool getting both him and Eckler. I'm not necessarily against people getting Chubb. I'm just not a huge fan of his ADP. You know, if Jacoby Brissett's going to be the quarterback, I just don't know what to think about that. Looks like a trade just went down in the India Dynasty League.
Yeah, Stephen Day and J Rock. Okay.
J Rock. See what Filoni does here. Got Mike Evans and then Javonte Williams at the 3-1. I like that value for Javonte there.
Yeah, 3-1. That's great. Saquon Barkley at the 2-11. Another guy I just think is going to be primed. I think I just need to put him in my top 12 potentially. I feel like it's just going to be crazy. There's too many good people to go in the top 12, which is tough, you know.
So many guys that could go there, yeah.
They go
sure.
Zeke, Josh Allen at the 3 with the first quarterback off the board.
I am going to... We're releasing a video on this channel pretty soon. It'll probably be tomorrow or the day after. I think it's, you know, tomorrow. And I talk specifically about quarterback values in redraft leagues, and I think it's going to be super helpful for anyone in a one quarterback redraft league. I think I bring some good perspective, hopefully. Think it's worth listening to, so I hope that helps some people.
Yep.
Dom says, he says, glad the channel's really taken off. I was trying to get into social media advertising and management. It's pretty good money there for sure. And that's a hard game to get into, but there's a lot of good money there. Social media in general is such a monster right now. It changes so often.
Yeah, and I think it's also being flooded by everyone as well, which is really tough, you know. And
yeah,
it's being flooded by like all age groups, the youth, even the middle of the pack, you know, from like the 23 to like the 28s, and then even like not elderly, but you know, 30 to 40.
Yeah,
everyone, all age groups are going into social media, which is also really, really tough to kind of get your foot in the door sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting old sometimes when I see trends. I'm like, wait, babe, what does this mean? You know, I'm like, oh my god, I am old.
Yeah, it's interesting.
By the way, it's so funny. I saw this whoever runs the Cubs account, the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
There was this let me make my pick real quick and I'll. All right, who has gone off the board? Is T. Higgins gone or is he still available?
No, he's still available.
I'll grab T. Higgins here.
T. Higgins.
Let me see if I can find the thread. But whoever was running the Chicago Cubs account, I feel like it must have been a teenager because they were like having back and forths with like regular people on
the account.
On their account, yeah. Like someone was like, "You're just a kid." Like it was the Cubs account. Let me see if I can find it
on Instagram.
Yeah.
Let me see if I.
Here I'll send you the link. I don't know if you can bring it up for people to see, but it was so interesting. I just sent you it on Facebook over there.
All right, let's see.
While you're doing that, Thomas says, how to join a dynasty league with both of you. So we have leagues that we host, and it's basically a way for people to support what we do, to support our channel, both the redraft and the dynasty channel. So if you want to play in redraft or dynasty, we have different tiers there. We also have a tier called the best of both worlds if you want to play in both a redraft and a dynasty league. I'll paste a link to our Patreon there, but just make sure you read through the tiers entirely. Make sure you know, if you have any questions, you DM us on Discord so we can answer any of those questions for you. But there's a link to our Patreon. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Dom says, well, doors haven't really opened and my heart has changed on that career path. I get you. I get you. I feel like I thought I knew what I wanted to do for so long, and then I feel like that's just normal, isn't it? Like sometimes your desire to do certain things changes. That's just a real place. Kyle Pitts goes off the board, then Mahomes. James Conner at the 3-9 I think is very good value. There goes David Montgomery as well off the board. Monty says, what do you think of Jacoby Myers? I think Jacoby Myers, the way I view it is I kind of believe that Devontae Parker will be the most targeted wide receiver in that offense this year. Obviously, they traded for him. They did not really draft. Well, technically, they drafted Tyquan Thornton. So there is a lot of reasons to be slightly worried about Jacoby. Will he be the second? Will he be the third option in this offense? Will Jonnu Smith get more involved? Will Hunter Henry continue to dominate in the red zone? So with Jacoby, I think there's reasons to be even slightly more worried about his upside compared to last year. I don't know that there's going to be a huge, step in his fantasy value this year. He was averaging around 10 to 12 points a game, 13 points a game last year. I would say it's probably around 8 to 10 points this year. So I would say he's probably one of those guys you want as like your wide receiver 5 on your team, But he's consistent.
Yeah, he is. He's consistent. Gator fan, funny took Higgins. Zach was debating between Keenan Allen and T. Higgins. For me, I would take Keenan. I'd be taking Keenan Allen. He did take Keenan Allen, and I like that. I think he's my top. He's my wide receiver 7, if I'm not mistaken, coming into the season. I still believe in the targets. I still believe in the volume. I think Justin Herbert is going to continue to make Keenan and Mike Williams fantasy relevant. T. Higgins, I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Both of these guys are going to be fantasy relevant. You really took him 3-4 and the 3-6. I don't think there's a wrong answer there, in my opinion, but especially in the redraft perspective.
Sure. I would say for me, I do lean T. Higgins over Keenan Allen. I'm not so sure that Mike Williams won't finish ahead of Keenan Allen this year. We'll see. All I want to say is I don't think it's an impossibility for that to happen. But with T. Higgins, there's a couple things around T. Higgins. Number one,
T. Higgins.
He averaged the 13th most points per games last year. Missed 3 games. Very similar stats to Mike Evans, just didn't get there with the touchdowns. From weeks 11 to 17 after their bye week, in that span, T. Higgins had more receptions, more targets, and more yards than Jamar Chase, and he was a wide receiver 7 in that span from weeks 11 to 17. Let me make my pick here. I'll definitely take ETN. And for me, I just think now that defenses have an entire year of film on Jamar Chase, he's still going to be very good, and he's still going to be the more valuable wide receiver in that offense. But I think now you're going to see defenses game plan around Jamar Chase, which I think is going to be very beneficial for a guy like T. Higgins. Whereas with Keenan Allen, I think he's going to be a reliable guy, but I think he's going to be exactly what we got last year, right? Reliable target. The upside will be limited. The touchdown upside will be limited. You think about how Mike Williams was used in the red zone. He was used a lot. Like if you had Keenan Allen and you were watching the Chargers and they were within 10 yards of the goal line, it was Mike Williams getting like 3 opportunities to go up and grab the ball. It wasn't Keenan Allen. So for me, I think Keenan's going to be super reliable. I'm not against having him as my wide receiver 1 on my squad if I go 2 running backs early, but I am a little hesitant to draft him over some other players that I just see more upside. So definitely love Keenan, connected to a great quarterback in a great offense. I just think the upside is going to be a little bit more limited than a guy like T. Higgins this year.
Right. I don't know if you saw him, but he said, glad the channel's really taking off, and I was trying to get to social media. Yeah, we saw that. My bad. Right. Okay. Just want to make sure
he said, Dom says he's about to start doing the YouTube thing, done working for the man. I love that. I mean,
do it, man.
Really, the reason we started, like, this channel doesn't pop off like the Dynasty channel. I think it's just the wrong time of the year as well. Like, people aren't looking at redraft content right now. But, really, the reason we started is because we didn't want to work for anyone anymore. And also, it was during COVID, and we both lost our jobs, so we decided to just go all in with this. So, John says, Little Jordan going to take targets. Love it. Thomas says, are you guys on the Pittman hype train? I feel like 3rd round is high for him, but everyone values him there. Where'd he go? He went at the 311. Yeah, I personally am on the Pittman hype train.
Yeah.
I have to say yes.
I took him like a 311, and he's getting a better quarterback, more efficient quarterback, a guy that has produced a fantasy wide receiver like Julio Jones, like a Calvin Ridley. He knows how to do that in the offense. I think this passing offense will be a lot more consistent moving forward, and he has a plus. He's never had a talented running back like a Jonathan Taylor. Matty Ice is a guy that knows how to throw the ball. I mean, he's an MVP winner. I mean, he led the league in passing yards for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. Michael Pittman is definitely going to benefit from that. Maybe it does hurt now that, you know, Alec Pierce is there. He probably takes a target or two away per game, away from Michael Pittman. But at the same time, Michael Pittman wasn't even getting hyper targeted like that, you know? Like, let me just double check before I even, you know, I mean, look at the targets. Hyper target here, 12 for sure. 15, that's like one off games. But if you really look at it, 7, 3, 4, 6, 5, 5, 8, you know, 5. I feel like that's where he's going to be. And then the touchdowns where it wasn't really going, but he was getting those big chunk plays. This offense will be definitely more consistent, I think, with Carson Wentz coming through. I mean, Matt Ryan, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm on the Pittman train. I mean, wide receiver 17 last year. Did Judy go off the board? Judy went off the board.
Yeah.
I'll take Terry here. He was the wide receiver 17 last year. Gets an upgrade at quarterback. So, and they really didn't bring anyone to compete with him for targets. So I have Pittman as my wide receiver 15 this year. So I am on the train. I love it.
Monty just traded Swift, B. Robinson, and a 24-second and a 25 third for Ken Walker, Tony Pollard, and a 23 random first. Thoughts? Swift, Robinson, 24 second, and a 25 third for Walker, Pollard, and a 23 first. I actually don't mind that.
Swift,
I like
Robinson,
Ken, I like
24 second, 24 third for Ken.
I like.
No, man, I'm going Swift side.
I actually don't mind it. I don't mind having Ken Walker, Tony, in the 23 first. But yeah,
I'm going Swift side. I mean, we gave up Swift, who in Dynasty startups is going around like the 201 to the 202, 203. We also gave up a 24 second and a 25 third. So I just think Swift himself is typically getting you 2 first round picks at minimum. I think I prefer the Swift side there.
Okay.
But it's close.
I think the way I see it is like Ken Walker in the 23 first or Swift, cool, and then Tony Pollard.
Would you do that? Would you do Ken Walker in 23 first for Swift?
It's tough.
I think I would prefer Swift.
I think it depends on the team. And at the moment, it's really hard because we haven't seen, you know, Ken Walker in this offense. But the expectation is there. He's a do-it-all guy. He's a pass-catching back. He should be getting the workload in the backfield.
Not a pass-catching back.
And on the ground.
He's never been a pass-catching back.
He can catch the ball.
Well, he's never done that.
He's never been a pass-catching back. You're right, but he can catch the ball. So I do like it. I actually really don't mind it personally. Okay. I truly don't mind it. I'm on the clock here. Sorry.
Yeah, I would prefer the Swift side personally, but I don't think it's like a huge overpay. But yeah, I would keep Swift there. Even rebuilding. I mean, it's hard to find a better running back to rebuild with than a guy like Swift. Jerry says I have Sutton over Pittman. I can see how that would be a possibility. That would not surprise me. That wouldn't shock me with Russell Wilson coming in. Gator says, who are a couple veteran quarterbacks not named Brady or Rodgers who you trust the most? Kirk Cousins. I'm thinking like late round values. Derek Carr, Dak Prescott. Those kind of names. Thomas says, Ken Walker cannot catch the ball. Only 5% college target share, I think is what he was going to say there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never been a pass catching guy. So if he couldn't do it in college, it's hard to see that being a huge part of his game in the NFL, I would say.
Distracted. AJ Dillon here. After this pick, I'm going to change to 30 seconds, guys. After ACJ, excuse me. Sounds like elevator music.
Yeah. It goes Kyler off the board.
Ooh, 30 seconds.
Monty up there was saying he thinks Jacoby is still the Pats' #1 wide receiver. I get where you're coming from. I don't know that it's all that clear, and he definitely was the #1 last year. And what was it worth? That's where I'm coming from, with my uncertainties with him. Were you able to show the Cubs social media stuff?
Yeah, I showed it. Well, sorry, you were.
Okay.
I think you were talking about. I still have it up here.
So funny.
Yeah,
So funny to see.
Expect your tears all over the timeline in a few hours. Screenshot it for later. Good job. I'm sure you get 1 retweet and 3 likes and give yourself a nice pat on the back.
This is a professional baseball account
Like
tweeting this out.
23 and 37. Stop. You're a teenager on the internet tweeting a baseball team's Twitter account.
Like, the reply there should have been, "You're a MLB professional baseball Twitter account replying to a teenager."
This tweet was, and then they deleted it. Obviously,
They deleted all the tweets.
Obviously, somebody saw it.
Someone's gonna lose their job off of that. Let's be honest. Like, you can't run a professional team's account and
Even
having like Twitter battles.
What was this guy? He's in shambles. That's funny.
I'm going to. I gotta. I'm gonna go Zach Ertz here. I know people are gonna, say that's a reach. I understand, but first 6 games of the year, I think he's gonna get hyper targeted. And honestly, I don't think it's crazy to say Zach Ertz will potentially be like a top 4 tight end the first 6 weeks of the year. I mean, last year he finished as the tight end 5. Adam Thielen goes off the board. It's a pretty good pick there.
Not so bad. Not so bad. Good noise.
Not bad. Good choice. When did Ertz get traded, by the way?
It's week 6.
Week 6. So week 7. Let's have a look at this from week 7 onwards.
Week 6.
So what did he do while he was in Arizona? From week 7 onwards, Zach Ertz was the tight end 4. And he was the second most targeted tight end, tied with Travis Kelce. And he's also younger than Travis Kelce. Just some things to think about.
Think about it. It was Cordero Patterson, Kenneth Walker. Hey guys, please just call me Ken.
Why? Why did he do that?
Have you seen?
Kenneth was so much cooler.
Have you seen the poster of like Ryan Gosling being like Ken Barbie? Like there's a movie that's coming out as like the Ken Barbie, or like it's called the Barbie movie or Ken Barbie movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he's playing Ken the Barbie doll.
No.
It's so funny. It looks so funny.
All right, Dom. Have a good one, bro. It's good talking. Miss ya. Hope you're doing well.
All love, brother.
All right, we see Patterson off the board, then Walker, Juju, Michael Thomas, and D-Hop. I'll keep saying this. I feel like D-Hop's someone I don't want to draft at all in redraft.
Mm-hmm.
We have to think about like how valuable is your bench. Normally in a 1-quarterback redraft league, you have like 5 to 6 spots on your bench, and D-Hop is going to, for at least 7 weeks, be someone that just burns a hole through your bench. And it's so hard to make those decisions when you're looking at the waiver wire, after every week. I'm just not sure I want to strap my lineup like that, you know?
Agreed.
So I think D-Hop's one of those guys where, yep, he's going to be absolutely like a wide receiver 2, a low-end wide receiver 2 when he comes back. But I just don't want my lineup strapped like that. So I think D-Hop's one of those guys I'm just not drafting.
Yeah. There goes Clyde.
Clyde goes off the board, and I don't know how Bateman is still here, but I'll take it all day. Welcome, Rashad Bateman. This roster is looking nice, y'all. Sheesh.
So you can trade for D-Hop later for the same price.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, Gator fan.
I haven't looked at it yet, Gator. Sorry. We'll look at your content idea here soon. And can't take back the pick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Real life scenarios, you know.
Yeah, you gotta be prepared.
Gotta be ready. Gator says it took Lockett instead of Bateman. It's okay. Gabe Davis goes off the board.
I like that pick. For the game.
Good old Gabe.
On a Renfro. Okay.
What's the thought here, Badaki?
I wonder if I should solidify.
Take us through it.
I'm thinking about another running back, which I think I'm going to take. I'm going to take Tony here. I'm happy with whichever wide receiver falls to me.
If it wasn't Bateman, it would have been Tony for me.
And that's my 4th running back. And I have 3 wide receivers right now. Devontae Adams, Pittman, and Cooks, which I feel really happy about. I guess the hyper target from Adams, the hyper target to Cooks, and then Pittman could be, you know, my flex option right now, or whichever way you want to put it. See if I can get another wide receiver here that I like.
Come on.
Come on.
And
Brother Cook. And then, which I'm happy because I thought he would go another wide receiver instead of 2 more running backs, which maybe doesn't really matter. I'm taking Elijah Moore here, another guy that I love. 2nd year with the team. 2nd year with Zach Wilson. Finally going into the slot. Garrett Wilson comes onto the scene now, which I believe helps Elijah Moore. Corey Davis on the other side. He's gonna do what he does best and work in the slot, and I love that.
sure. Floney says, I honestly think D-Hop is going to have an explosion when he gets back. He will have a good second half of the season. I can see that. Sure. I get where you're coming from. I think for me, I'm just going to avoid that headache of rostering him that long, not really being able to, because most leagues are not going to, like, for a suspension, you're not going to be able to put him on, you know, the IR, because that's really his fault. It's not an injury.
Yeah.
So just team construction wise, I think it will be kind of hard. But
yeah, I think it really depends, you know, like what happens if Hollywood Brown is, these guys are winning games. I think that's the real conversation, you know, like 7 games, right? They're 5-2. Wow, you know, they're leading the division, and they were winning games easily without DeAndre Hopkins. You know, that conversation's already stirring before DeAndre Hopkins comes back. Well, do we really need to just start changing what we're doing and hyper targeting DeAndre Hopkins again? Or should we just roll with what we have? Roll with how we're winning, you know? And I think that's a huge conversation. He definitely helps the offense. But, like, maybe that would hurt him. I don't know. Hypotheticals, though. A lot of hypotheticals.
Yeah, hard to say.
All good. Helping with groceries. Sometimes you got to, you know? You just get that text message or you yell out, groceries! Help! Your mom, whoever's taking in the groceries. Thomas, all the drafts I finish with a lot of wide receivers and running backs. I don't know why, but I always prefer wide receiver value. Absolutely. I definitely hear, even though it's evened out for me here. I have 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers, so I guess it kind of evens out. I know Zach sometimes does it a little bit differently. Only 2 running backs at the moment.
Yeah.
He said would have taken Kirk instead of Cook.
I do like Kirk's value. Joe Burrow goes at the 8-11.
Mm-hmm. Gator fan, you had an overall balance of team. Would you rather go with safe player or a player with boom potential? I think it depends on where you're getting them.
Yeah, the ADP is everything there.
Because like in the first rounds, I want to go safer. You know, I want to have my solidified guys, and then maybe here this is where you kind of take the shots on these guys. You know, the 8th round, you want to go with people unless there's people available. For example, Alan Lazard or Christian Kirk. You know, come on. I think they kind of fall in the same area though, but let's just say Christian Kirk and one of these rookies, which we don't really know. Like that is boom potential, or maybe someone that's a little bit safer with Christian Kirk. At least the expectation that he's going to be safer. So that's the thought process.
Yeah, I get it. I do find that every time I'm on the board as of late, I feel like the value is at wide receiver. It doesn't feel like the value is at running back typically when I'm on the board. So I can definitely relate with where he's coming from there. It's so much easier to go wide receiver because you love the value, whereas running back almost feels like a need. Oh, I need to grab this guy just to fill this spot. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
Russell
Wilson
was off the board. Still so many quarterbacks that I love on the board, so I don't feel a need to really go there now.
Remember, guys, going to round 12. See what Zach does here. Justin Jefferson,
I think I'm gonna go Ronald Jones here.
Okay, his 3rd running back off the board, or on his team here. Lenny, ETN, Rojo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All those videos are pretty sure uploaded already.
Mm-hmm.
Sky Moore. I like Sky Moore. I was hoping he was coming to me right there. Let's see what else we got. We got some other people here though. Got some high upside guys. Kenny G, it's all right. I'll take his teammate, and that's Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney that late is pretty great.
9-11. My wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going later and later. Andre Stevenson.
So you said videos are 49 to 53?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that's only 5 videos. Okay.
This is interesting. Where do I go with my tight end? Golder or Pat the Dragon? That's a tough one. I think it's Golder.
Yeah.
It
is tough. It's really tough.
Goldert.
Both guys are in a situation where, you know, the consistency is going to be a little bit hard to find with the amount of weapons in their offense.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I guess Pat has more mouths to feed over there, where now Dallas has now AJ Brown, but inconsistent.
Yeah.
You know, the question marks and the inconsistency with Jalen. So
yeah,
it's a bit tough.
Sure. And no. See what Young Buck does here.
TB12.
It's like an auto.
TB12. Russell Gage.
Hey, so I'm on the board here, and I've been a big advocate of waiting on running on quarterbacks. Excuse me, until round 10. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab Jalen Hurts here.
Nice.
In the 10th round.
I thought thought you would wait maybe another round or wait until the 12th.
I was thinking about it. The TB12 auto draft, I don't think he would have gone off the board, but that could have changed things for me. I see Tebow doesn't have a quarterback yet, so I'll go ahead and grab QB here. But yeah, I mean, 10th round is the earliest I'm going quarterback this year.
Yeah.
In a one quarterback redraft league. I don't think it makes sense to go quarterback before round 10 with how many good starting options there are, you know.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, once again, look at
SPB loves it. Appreciate that.
still in the drive. Jalen Hurts should have won the 5th. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even a big Jalen Hurts guy, but you know, that late, you know, the upside's there. Yeah.
Yeah, and all the quarterbacks on the board. You know, Trey Lance, Carr, Cousins, Tua, Fields, T-Law, Matt Ryan, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Tannehill, Kenny, Carson Wentz, Danny Dimes, Davis Mills. It's a lot of people, a lot of quarterbacks there.
It is.
So maybe get some more depth, get that extra wide receiver, get that extra running back. You know?
Yeah.
MVS.
So I feel like if I was to enter a redraft league with this squad here, I would feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this draft as well. I really like the way I did this, and I haven't even got my quarterback yet. I think that kind of says a lot already.
That's right, Thomas.
Come on.
We do not care about quarterback in one quarterback redraft league. It's also not much trade value. You know, people don't really care about trading for a quarterback. They would just rather look at the waiver wire.
Yeah. I'm a guy that's always like, I think I said this last time, but you know, I started a bit shaky last time. I did a super late quarterback strategy.
Oh, that was a super flex league though.
That was a super flex. It kind of bit me in the butt there, but
yeah,
I had Jameis, and then he wasn't working out in one of my leagues, and then Sam Darnold was available, and he was a top 8 quarterback like the first 5 weeks of the season because he was just going off with DJ. Picked him up, started him, won a couple games, and then obviously went back to being shaky. And that's like the pros and cons of it, you know. Unless you can solidify a guy earlier, like a Hurts, you know. There goes Lance, you know.
So I could have got Lance there at the 11-7. That's probably would have been the smarter move for me to wait. But just on J.D. McKissic, I think he's a really good value in redraft leagues. I still think he's the third down guy. It doesn't make sense for someone else to play that role. Certainly, it doesn't make sense for Brian Robinson to be that person. So you shouldn't be worried about his role changing. Last year, he had 53 targets in 11 games. So he was on pace for 82 targets last year. 82 targets. That's what he was on pace for, which is ridiculous. That would have made him tied for the third most targets. You know, if you played the entire year. So I just don't know that it makes a lot of sense for anyone else to play that role.
Now this is where it gets a bit shaky. Do I go with consistency or high upside in quarterback? You know, this is where, like, I can go to Kirk Cousins. Guy's been a top 12 for the past 2 years, or I can go with Tua, who has some rushing. Justin Fields, who has some rushing, was third in rushing. You know what? I'm actually gonna go Kirk. Let's see what happens. Naeem, it's actually not bad. So I'm gonna go Naeem's and Justin Fields.
Okay.
I mean, sorry,
Naeem?
Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields.
Okay, right.
Go with Mr. Consistent. If he has a couple bad games, maybe Justin Fields is rushing. Man, swap him out. If not, I can drop him, trade him away, see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. This is why I think round 10 is a sweet spot to grab a QB, you know? I would say round 10 might be the sweet spot there. Just to get that little more assurance at the position. We'll find out. It'll change as it goes.
Yeah, it's interesting. That Washington backfield is very interesting. Gibson and Robinson and JD still being quote unquote the pass catching back. Gibson and Brian Robinson, quote unquote, still gonna like be a 1-2 punch. Three-headed monster.
Thomas says sometimes I like to go 2 tight end early so everyone push tight end up their boards. What do you guys think? I would personally say that would be a strategy I would avoid, because typically because that happened last year in one of our leagues. Yes, I don't know if you remember, but actually
happened. Someone took like, I would think it was Mark Andrews and TJ.
Yeah, and it didn't change anyone's board. You know, people still waited on tight ends. I mean, even here, people still kind of waited to get their starter in the 11th, the 10th round, 12th round. And I just don't think it's worth going double tight end early, because in a non-tight end premium league, you're not going to get much trade value. You know, people aren't going to send you. So, for example, Waller here, we could have had, you know, another starting running back. We could have had another starting wide receiver. So I would personally say, for me, I don't think it's a strategy that works out really well when I'm drafting. And typically, if you do that, you're gonna want to trade one of those guys, because you don't really want to put them in your flex because of how inconsistent typically they are. But so I would say it's not a strategy I would be pushing for.
It is very interesting though, because look at the tight end. What I wanted to do is look at the tight ends that are still available, and maybe these aren't guys.
Last pick here, by the way.
Yeah, I'll probably let it run, just so we can talk about the tight ends really
Sure.
fast. Noah Fant is a guy I think you could pick up and start. Maybe Robert Tonyan at times you could pick up and start.
Albert O.
Yeah, Albert O. Joe Everett maybe, depending on how he goes this year. Logan Thomas maybe. Brevin Jordan still there. Mo Ali Cox still there. Even with Jelani Woods, you know. That's probably about like 5 or 6 other tight ends you can probably pick off waiver wires. Maybe even Gronk if he does re-sign, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a couple guys, but at the same time, it's kind of tough. It is tough.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I would say just try and find the best values on the board. That would be the strategy. And we're big late quarterback guys, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's not a strategy I've loved as far as like results. You know, we look at the squad here. Love the quarterback. I'm happy there. Love the wide receiver room, but I don't know how I feel about Hunt and Gordon being my RB2s. So instead of Waller, you know, we could have probably solidified a better running back 2 there. And what will Waller get you in the trade market? You know, will someone be willing to give you an AJ Dillon, a Damian Harris, you know? So it's
a team, yeah, like I mean,
it's hard.
Hypotheticals, you know, like Irv Smith is not panning out. Cool. You have Darren Water. Let's talk to AJT. Who can you really get? You know, who is he really selling?
Not Kamara.
You know, like, yeah, who is he selling to? Are you gonna try to get a Dillon? Are you gonna try to get a Cook? Is he even gonna get work? I don't want anyone in Miami backfields. Ramondre Stevenson is an RB2. Naeem Hines is an RB2. At least like in their depth chart, not saying like in a workload perspective. That would be
hard.
That would be a hard trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strat that you kind of put yourself in a hard position, because you kind of have to trade one of them because you can't flex them consistently. But yeah. All right, guys. This was fun. Always love doing redraft mocks. Obviously, things are going to massively change as we get closer and closer to the season.
But yeah, it's all love, huge love. If you haven't subscribed, you're a lurker out there. Subscribe. We also have a Dynasty channel that's also in the description below if you did not know. But yeah, all love. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you